Alright guys, so now we are going to start with the sociological thinkers. So this is going to be a very short session, and I'll be discussing the introduction to thinkers in this, and then tomorrow onwards we'll be getting deeper into the thinkers, and we will be starting with Marx tomorrow. So let's get started. Let's try to understand the thinkers, and whatever we are going to cover in the next maybe 20 sessions is what we are actually going to discuss in this session. So some of the things that I'm going to discuss here you may not understand. I take up the context of the thinkers, I take up the perspective of the thinkers, I take up the approach of the thinkers, and also briefly tell you the names of the theories. And you don't want to worry about that. All these things is what we are actually going to see in the coming session. Okay, 20-25 sessions we are going to spend for thinkers. For example, Marx, we have 4 theories plus 1 critical analysis, so we are going to spend 5 days for Marx. Similarly, Durkheim, we have 4 theories, and then we will go for a critical analysis day, so another 5 days for Durkheim. Similarly, 3 plus 1 days for Weber we are going to spend, right? Another 3 days we are going to spend for Parson, and another 3 days for Merton, and 1 day is enough for Mead. So this is how we are actually going to cover. So half of these two itself will take another 10 days. So far we have completed 10 days, right? Not 10, 13 days we have covered. So these two thinkers alone is going to take that many number of days, so that you can understand the importance of the thinkers. And I can guarantee you, I can assure you, you are going to be the best in thinkers. And we are very popular, especially when it comes to the discussions on thinkers. And remember guys, 60% of your syllabus directly or indirectly is connected with thinkers. Now if see 60%, I can even say directly also, because even if you see the chapter on religion, there you are going to apply the same thinkers, the same perspective. Family, same thinkers we are going to bring in. You are going to talk about Marx there. You are definitely going to talk about Durkheim there. You will be talking about Parson there in family also, right? In religion also, you are going to talk about Weber, Protestant ethic and spirit of capitalism. You are going to talk about Durkheim theory of religion. You are going to discuss about Marx also. So each and every area, these thinkers are going to come. So let's try to understand them. Not in detail here, I'll be giving you the overview of the thinkers, and then we'll get deeper into that from the coming sessions. And you're going to be with me for the next 25 days, and we are going to enjoy this ride through the thinkers. Okay, so I have divided them like this. Early sociological thinkers, you can consider them as the modern sociologist also, because Auguste Comte, Saint Simon, Herbert Spencer we are not discussing here. We have already done that in the first 3 chapters. Enough discussions are over. So here I consider them as modern thinkers. And then Parson, Merton we can consider as contemporary sociologists. These are modern sociologists. Parson, Merton, contemporary sociologist, out of which Marx never called himself as a sociologist. He never called himself as a sociologist. Mead preferred to call him as a socio-psychologist, and others are directly referred as sociologists. Durkheim, pure sociologist. Weber, pure sociologist. Parson, Merton, these 4 are pure sociologists. Okay, so let's get started. And if you see Marx, let's start with Marx, German thinker. And his active period is, if you see, 1840 to 60, and he focused on some of the theories that we will be discussing. And when it comes to Durkheim, a French sociologist, productive years 1890 to 1917, known for his functionalism and defining scope of sociology in terms of social facts, which we have seen in the chapter of first chapter, social fact, the topic. Okay, he defined scope of sociology in terms of social facts. Again, when it comes to Weber, he defined scope of sociology in terms of social action, and we have seen a macro approach here, and we have seen a micro approach here. All these are what again we are going to discuss in depth, in detail. Okay, so Weber is again a German scholar. This is the active period, and he introduced an interpretive approach in sociology. He is considered to have bridged the gap between the two. Who are the two? Positivist and non-positivist. Okay, so we will be seeing all these in detail, guys. Don't worry about that. Now comes these American sociologists after that. Mead, Okay, and productive years is this, and his basic one theory is what we need to study, that is theory of self. We'll be seeing the perspective also, the symbolic interactionism. And then Talcott Parsons, again an American sociologist, there's the active period, okay, so known for structural functional approach and his social system theory. Robert Merton, again an American sociologist, there's a productive year, and Merton is actually a student of Parsons. So contributed to functionalism and in middle range theory. Parsons referred Weber in detail and have modified the theory of social action which has been proposed by Weber. So we will be seeing that theory, and we'll be seeing both the social action theory and how Parsons modified over Weber, what are the elements Parsons added over Weber, and how he made it more integrated approach, and all these are what we are going to see. Okay, so don't worry about anything. I'm there and I'll be taking care of complete thinkers. Don't worry about that. So now moving on to this socio-economic context. Now guys, this is something which is very important for you to understand. Each and every thinker is writing in a particular socio-economic context, and their writings and their perspective and their approach totally are different, depends on the socio-economic context they are writing, right? Marx is writing on a particular context, Durkheim is writing on a particular context. When it comes to Weber, the context may be different. Parsons, if you see, and they are writing during the time of 1940s, Merton also. That's the time where colonialism is a thing of past and the welfare state have emerged. So their perspective will change when you compare it with Marx. When you see Marx, industrialization, modernization is going on, democratization is going on, just starting. If you see industrialization is going on, right? If you talk about the particular aspect, democratization is going on the political side, and modernization in general. So there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of exploitation. So Marx is writing in an entirely different context than Merton and Parsons. So when we evaluate these thinkers, we need to evaluate from the context in which they are writing. So their perspectives will be colored with the context in which they are writing. Their understanding will vary, right? Their approach will change. So that's all, again, you need to know. We will be discussing that in detail when it comes to each of these thinkers. So European society was undergoing the transformation like industrialization, democratization, or modernization, you can say, in general. That's the time in which Marx is writing. So sociology emerged here, and then Marx writing, Durkheim writing, etc. during this period of time. Later you can see American welfare state established, emerging welfare state in America during early 20th century. That's when Mead is writing, and then post-colonial era is where mostly this Parsons, Merton writing. So the approach will vary. And if you look at the perspectives, see, this again is very important. We'll have to understand, and this is something which not only relevant for this particular chapter, this is what we are applying across the chapter. If you remember the previous sessions, stratification where we discussed about functional theories, structural functional theories, where I have mentioned about Parsons in brief, right? So I told you when it comes to the Marxian theory, I'll be covering it in the chapter of Marx, and I left it. Weberian theory also, I left it by saying that I'll be covering it in this, thinkers chapter. So that's how we will be interconnecting. So different perspectives, functional perspective, what they do is, they try to see things in a functional way, right? Something is existing means it is necessarily fulfilling certain vital functions for society. That's why it is existing, right? If caste system is there, it is fulfilling certain vital function. Otherwise, society itself will eliminate. It become automatically irrelevant. It is not, doing any function. How can it survive so long? Religion exists means it is necessarily, remember, keep this word in mind, it is necessarily fulfilling some vital function for society, right? Or vital function for individual, family. It is existing means it is doing this. Otherwise, it won't exist. It become automatically irrelevant. It will disappear. Is it disappearing now? No, right? That means it is relevant. It is functional. There are certain vital functions, core functions. Okay. Conflict perspective, on the other hand, try to see this in a opposite view. How religion is exploiting the masses, how even family becoming an exploitation device, and everything is what we will be seeing. Again, interpretive approach by Weber, we have already discussed in chapter 2, and we'll be again seeing that here. Again, evolutionary perspective also used by when we discuss about Marx, his theory of historical materialism, we'll be talking about evolutionary approach, right? How society evolved from ancient to, slave society, to feudal society, to capitalist society, to socialism, to communism, his dream. Similarly, Durkheim also used this concept. Okay, so we will be talking about that. Marx and Durkheim have used. Parson and Mead, if you see, created grand evolutionary theories. Parson also used this approach. Sociological method, if you see, Weber and Durkheim, I told you they were pure sociologists and they wanted to make it specific methods for sociology, and they have made it, and that's actually a topic from both of them. For example, when we talk about Weber, we discuss about ideal type, right? And that itself can be a separate question. We talk about worst hand. These are methods. This itself, in itself, can be a question. Causal probabilism or causal pluralism, right? All these are, methods which are developed by Weber. Durkheim also, like indirect experiment, comparative method. Again, direct methods from natural science like statistical techniques, which is used in his theory of suicide, his study of suicide. So all these we are again going to get into in deep. Don't worry about, if you're not able to understand certain things at this point of time. Okay. So Marx developed methods, but not specific to sociology, not for sociology, but later incorporated. We'll be discussing that. Merton, we will be seeing that functional paradigm he created, which is basically a nine-step process to make a theory building in sociology. Mead also. Their views on individual versus society, if you see, some of them have given importance to society over individual, and your actions are designed by society. Your actions are influenced by society. They are, macro sociologists. What they do is, they give importance to society. For example, you are preparing for this civil service exam because your society demanding so. Society have, huge role to play in this because of the respect that the society given everything. Right, that's why you are here. That's what their argument. Marx, Durkheim, etc. Macro sociologist, or those who are giving more importance to society, they will say that your actions are oriented, towards society, or it's an influence of society. Society tell you to do it and you are doing it. On the other hand, Weber, Mead, what they will tell you is individual is supreme. Your motivation is important. You are preparing for this exam because of your motivation, not because of society. If it is because of society, everybody would have prepared. But that's not the case. So it's your motivation. But what these people will say is, it's not only your motivation. It's not only the role of society also. It's both. Why you have motivation to become civil servant? Why you are spending this much of effort and time, and you are sitting here and watching the lectures at this point of time, where your friends are, going for a movie or chilling with the girlfriends and enjoying with beer and other things. Why you are here? Why you are wasting your time? It's because of the motivation. From where the motivation come? From society, that the respect that you get, the privilege that you get, etc. So here, what is superior? Society or individual? It's both. If you give importance to society, you are ignoring the individual motivation. If you are talking about individual, I am ignoring the societal influence. So for anything and everything, both are equally important. So integration of micro, macro, or societal influence and individual motivation is required to be considered. That's the viewpoint here. So what I want to tell you is, these guys give importance to society over individual. These guys give importance to individual over society, but these guys will give an integrated approach. Now these are theories which we will have to discuss in detail, guys, and you don't want to worry about any of the theory. There won't be any situation where you face any problem with any of the theory when it comes to the thinkers, or for that matter anything in paper 1 sociology. Paper 2 is somewhat general, and paper 1 you will not face any problem with any single topic. So these are things, I'm not going to discuss it here because we are going to spend one day for this, another day for this, another day for this, and then another day for alienation, and another day for specifically for criticizing all these theories. So 5 days is what I'm dedicating for Marx for you. Okay, and then Weber's contribution, like social action theory, we will see Protestant ethic theory, his methodology, all this can be asked as a question. They can ask you ideal types, they can ask you Westerhand, they can ask you causal pluralism, they can ask you about bureaucracy. So all these we will be preparing. Durkheim, division of labor is one theory. We will be seeing that. Religion, suicide, his methodology, and then again critical analysis. So that's it. Okay, Mead we have theory of self. Parson we have social action theory and social system theory. When it comes to Merton, we have functional paradigm, we have reference group theory, we have theory of anomy. Okay, and this is what we need to do. So this is what we are going to do in the next 25 sessions. It's going to be the most vital part of our journey. Okay, so I think we can stop here. This is what I want to discuss. I just want to introduce the thinkers, and I'm expecting that I've done. There is no point in spending too much of time here because we are going to get into this very, very deep. Okay, so let's stop it here, guys. See you tomorrow, where we will be starting with Marx. Okay, so that's it.